Hey, Adam,
Jeez, why do you think they call it bumpers, Gary?
I don't know.
Because they come at the beginning, at the end, like bumpers.
Alex, you're a marketing guy. Do you like that design behind Paul? Does that sweet logo thing look pretty cool to you?
Hey, I forgot to hit the record button.
That's really professional, isn't it?
Well, this is a professional podcast.
I met her in a parking lot and was handed 2 little Yorkies. And the only person I knew that knew Yorkies was Paul. So I called Paul and said, Paul.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, and SoundCloud and subscribe today. Now it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Sweet Talk, Idaho State University's Continuing Education and Workforce Training's weekly podcast. As our regular viewers can see, Paul Dickey, who is our regular host, is out today, so I will be taking over hosting duties for you. My name is Angela Wilhelm. I'm the marketing coordinator for ISU CEWT, or as we like to call Continuing Education and Workforce Training. Co-hosting with me today is my wonderful and talented colleague, Emily. Emily is our health programs administrative assistant. How are you today, Emily?
So good. How are you doing, Angie?
I'm doing well. And our special guest today is Tracy Collum. She's the interim dean for the graduate school here at Idaho State University. She's joining us as part of a really wonderful campaign that we'd like to promote that's coming up shortly here. Tracy, can you take a minute to introduce yourself and tell our listeners why you're here today?
Sure. As you said, I'm Tracy Collum. I'm the interim dean for the graduate school. And today we're going to talk about our United Way campaign, ISU and United Way. We have a local United Way Southeast Idaho chapter, as well as other chapters throughout Idaho that our other campuses are regionally a part of. And we're getting ready to have our kickoff for Idaho State University's annual campaign. And we're here to talk about that today and all the events and education that can go with it.
So I have a question to start things off, Tracy. How did you get involved with this campaign?
It kind of goes back about 20 years, I think. So at my previous institution in North Carolina, we were highly involved in the United Way campaign every year at our Triad location in North Carolina. And we had a campaign on campus. And so you hear about stories and you hear about the resources that are available in the community and how that works. And then I moved to Idaho 9 years ago, and we have our campaign here at Idaho State. It's been going on for over 24 years. And, I just started reading more about where the impacts were coming from, where they were impacting the local Pocatello and other Southeast Idaho communities. And, first of all, making my monetary donations with payroll deduction. But then we, as a graduate school, started getting more involved with our community and in giving. So there would be times the United Way would have baskets that they were putting together for seniors, and they needed somebody to come in and help put the baskets together. And we would volunteer to go over to their office and just put together those baskets for those senior centers. And then there were other things in the community that we would start doing. We have our new community service outreach that we've been doing for about 4 or 5 years called Grad School Gives. And a lot of those things end up being agencies that work with the United Way. So we've just gotten a little bit closer with them, and I've gotten to know quite a few of the ladies who run the United Way Southeast Idaho office. And over time, last year, they invited me to be part of the campaign cabinet, which is the cabinet that just puts together ideas for many agencies across the Southeast Idaho region to go back to their areas, whether it's their bank or their construction place or their university like us, to bring ideas back to build the campaign on campus or at their areas. So I just got more involved with that. And then this year we decided to have a campus-wide committee at Idaho State University to broaden the scope of what we can do and have more people to help, because our primary person who's been running it for years is retiring. Stacy Marshall's retiring. So she's on her way to retirement and enjoying that kind of life. So we don't know how she's been doing it all these years. It's quite a lot of work and quite a lot of things that go into this campaign. So we're team efforting it this year, and I'm part of that. And we invited Angie to be a part of that as well. Angie's on our committee.
Oh, Angie, you're muted.
I'm so excited to be part of that committee. It's my first year, so I really don't know what I'm doing yet, but hopefully as things grow, my knowledge will grow as well. Tracy, I have a question for you. This is something I was speaking with Emily about earlier. The campaign this year is going to benefit ALICE families. Can you talk a little bit about what ALICE families are and why it's important that our campaign assist ALICE families?
Yeah, so ALICE stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, and Employed. So the word ALICE is that acronym there, and there are people in our community who have jobs, they are working, and they are living paycheck to paycheck. So they are asset limited. They do have income coming in. They just, maybe that income is fully covering rent, possibly a car payment, possibly utilities, and maybe they're struggling a little bit deciding between groceries and paying for gas. That might be the struggle that they're working with, plus providing their kids with other opportunities that they might want to do. So the campaign this year for United Way is really focusing on resources that help those ALICE families out to be able to be beneficiaries in our community. And I think it's really important for our community members to really back our ALICE families, because those are people that are our neighbors. They might be our family members. They might be our coworkers. And so I think it's a really great campaign to have this year and to contribute to. And there's, I think, roughly around 30 agencies that really provide resources and support for those families. One of them is the Boys and Girls Club. And that's a new agency that got kicked off last year. I believe they have 2 locations now. It's after school activities that stay after these, after 2 of the elementary schools, a group of kids, a certain number of them, they are limited. They get to come in and be able to play, work, read, do homework, be cared for while their parents are still working, and being able to still contribute financially to their family and know their kids are safe and having fun and finishing their homework and not stressing about their after school snack and, getting them picked up from school right away. So I think those types of resources are really important for our community to keep us moving in a positive direction.
I think this is wonderful. And as she said, the Boys and Girls Club is very, very new to our area. We just started around about a year ago. Is that correct, Tracy?
I think so. I think the ribbon cutting was last October. I could be wrong. There are people who are way more educated on that than I am, but yes, I am so happy that it's here. It's such a great opportunity for kids.
It is a wonderful opportunity for kids. Now, what other programs are there that benefit the ALICE families?
So I have a list here because I wasn't going to try to memorize them. And I thought Angie's going to ask me these questions and I'm going to look at our impact list. So there is an entire sheet of where resources are within the community. And the big thing about these resources are they're here for us to donate or select from with our United Way campaign, but they're also here for people who need them as resources. And I think that's really an important part of the campaign, is really educating people about some of these resources. And so, in addition to the Boys and Girls Club, there's the Idaho Food Bank. I mean, that the food bank, those people running it, we have volunteered there several times, and it's just amazing the amount of work that goes into the food that is coming in, where it's coming from, the workflow of making it all happen and then getting it out. The Thanksgiving Day, the Thanksgiving meal that they do, the distribution of the food, that is such a huge event We were able to volunteer for that last year, and it warms your heart to be able to help give back a little bit more, even if you can't financially, to be able to go and help some of those resources to help the rest of the community too. Health West, they have a special services fund for those who need medical, behavior health, or dental services. So medical is often a huge expense. Dental is too. So those are some really great services at Health West. There's also Bright Tomorrows. It's a child advocacy center for those who have, they need services related to child sexual abuse. And they bring in professionals that help with those types of situations and counseling centers. There's the homeless shelter, the emergency homeless shelter. There's a couple of others on here that might be even, more relevant to various age groups. I know the Senior Center Meals on Wheels. We have a lot of seniors still working and providing for their families, maybe multi-generational households, and they still qualify for Meals on Wheels because they need some extra help with their income and their transportation and other things that they might need to have assistance from in the community. So those are some good examples, I think.
Those are phenomenal. I do have a quick question for you, because you talked a lot about all of the different just people who are involved in this annual campaign for Alice family specifically this year. Is there one big event that's coming up, or is it just a bunch of smaller events that go towards creating this annual campaign?
Yeah, so we have a couple of events already set up and scheduled. We know there might be a few more, and there might be some more that are coming up on our other campus locations. So in our Pocatello campus, for the kickoff of the campaign, we have a breakfast. This will be our second year doing a campus-wide breakfast, and it'll be taking place next Friday, the 13th. Kind of sounds like a spooky day.
That's exciting.
So Friday the 13th at 8:30, we're having our kickoff breakfast. Everyone on campus is invited to attend. It'll start at 8:30. It'll run till around 10:30. We're going to have some presentations from some folks who have benefited from the some of the resources we talked about. We'll have some education about Read Talk Play, one of the initiatives that the United Way has been working on the last few years. And then we also are going to have some raffle prizes. So we're going to have some baskets to raffle off. So the breakfast is free. Anybody on campus is welcome to come, but we're going to raffle off baskets, and all the donations related to those raffles will go straight towards the United Way as part of our ISU contribution. Then the very next day, on the 14th, we will have, in the next couple of days, some ticket vouchers for the football game against Eastern Washington. And so those ticket vouchers. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Emily.
Oh, no, I was just saying very cool. You're good.
Yeah. So the ticket vouchers will reduce the cost of the football attendance. That's for anybody in the community. And then some of the proceeds for that football ticket will then also go to the United Way on behalf of ISU. And then our third event that we have scheduled is the annual bowling tournament, which will take place on Halloween. We kind of have some Halloween spooky days in October to benefit from some of our activities. But the bowling tournament has been going on for quite a while. Marjana Hewlett started it with IT several years ago. Robin Long is heading that up with Marjana this year, and it'll take place on Halloween from 11 to 2. So people can dress up. It's usually a really fun event. It's great to see other people on campus. You get your teams of 4 together. It's $60 a team. And those donations will also go towards the United Way. And then people who don't necessarily want to bowl, they come and cheer you on. And that's really fun to see across campus too. So with all of that, we hope there's a few other events that get scheduled in or added in. We know there's quite a few presentations going on across campus at different departments or meetings that are going on, and we hope that that'll help educate everybody on the resources that are in the community for themselves or even their neighbors.
Okay, so I have a question for you. This campaign is really for to help ISU employees, staff, faculty, etc., donate and make some gifts for the United Way campaign. What are the ways staff and faculty can give to the United Way through this campaign?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways. If you attend any of the events, there will be ways to donate there, like the raffle baskets at the breakfast. But we do have payroll deduction available. And so HR, Danielle is setting up our website right now. We're almost ready to go live with some of the press releases and the website, but there will be a link in there for payroll deduction. You can choose any amount with payroll deduction from $1 to however much you feel you can contribute per paycheck. So you can do it that way. You can do a flat donation of, $25, $100, whatever your flat donation might be. If you do it for the year 2024 under payroll deduction per paycheck, it comes out the entire year for the 26 payroll dates that we have. You can also write a check and make it towards United Way and on behalf of ISU. So all of those things will be listed out on the HR website. When we get that sent out to all the employees, they'll have those ways to donate. We'll also have at the bowling fundraiser, I believe we'll have a dip jar. So that way we can, if anybody just wants to donate and not bowl, they'll have that opportunity to do so as well. I think payroll deduction has been the most popular over the years. It's super easy to do. Also, we'll have flyers and posters on those websites to indicate where those donations and impacts go. So this type of sheet that I'm cheating off of, I personally like to go through the sheet and designate what portion of my donations go to certain agencies. I'm a big fan of helping kids read and have after school activities. So a lot of mine go towards those types of resources. So I might put 50% there and 50% somewhere else. You can also put ISU agencies like the Bingle Benny's Pantry. So you can donate towards Benny's Pantry and it still contributes to the overall contribution of the United Way. One thing, I love this statistic or this data point too, Angie. We have been doing this for over 24 years at Idaho State, and we are close to $1 million total donation. I think that we'll make it this year because we are so close. So I think 2024 or 23 campaign for the 24 year, I think we'll hit $1 million. And I think that just says a lot about the giving spirit of those at Idaho State University too. So I think that's a really big number to be proud of.
I think that it will be such a wonderful thing to celebrate when we hit that $1 million. For those of you who are not familiar with Benny's Pantry, which Tracy just mentioned, Benny's Pantry is the on-campus food pantry that is available for students here. You can stop in. That's located in the Student Union building next to the craft shop. If you're unfamiliar with where that is, ask any staff or faculty member. They'll be able to help you. Tracy, we are actually running out of time, if I very quickly. Before we wrap up, if someone is interested in getting involved in this campaign, how would they do that and who would they reach out to?
Yeah, I think there's 8 or 9 of us on our campaign committee this year. And when the press release comes out, it'll be on Idaho State Today, our Monday, Thursday staff faculty newsletter, and we'll have all the names listed on there, and you can email any of us. So you can definitely email me, contact me, Angie Wilhelm, Amy Dressel, Leanne Waldron, Robin Long, Catherine Ryder, so I don't forget anybody in my mind there, but we'll all be listed out with our email addresses. So they're welcome to email us about any event they have, fundraiser at any campus. And keeping in mind the other campuses, their United Way totals will also go towards their regional United Way campaigns. They're not necessarily donating in the Treasure Valley for Southeast Idaho. It'll go straight to their Treasure Valley United Way campaign totals. But if they have any questions, they can reach out to any of us and we'll get them in contact or help organize whatever they want to do.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest today and teaching us a little bit. You're welcome. It's always nice to learn a little bit more about what's happening with our nonprofit agencies and our partnerships here at Idaho State University. So again, thank you very much for being our guest. Our podcasts will post on Wednesdays. They will be found on Spotify, on YouTube, and our blog at cetrain.isu.edu. So go ahead. If you like content like this, please like, share, give us a comment. That always helps. So thank you again for listening. Be safe out there.